The Pittsburgh Steelers are making a huge mistake. So, the reason for this is because during OTAs so far, Dan Moore Jr. is still the starting left tackle and has been running with the ones. And Broderick Jones, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been playing him both at right tackle and left tackle so far, doing both. And Troy Fautanu, he's been playing right tackle, but with the second team. So if you're looking at the starters, it would still be Dan Moore Jr. at left tackle and Broderick Jones at right tackle. But before I get more into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also, like the video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, Pittsburgh Steelers offensive tackle Dan Moore Jr. has started 49 games over the past 3 seasons for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He hasn't been stellar, but he also just hasn't been really bad. He's been like an average mid-level offensive tackle, specifically left tackle. And apparently, he told Brian Batko that he'll do whatever the team needs him to do, but he's still not comfortable playing right tackle. What does this mean? Well, if you are planning, or the Steelers fans think that Dan Moore Jr. would be the backup tackle now that the Steelers drafted a tackle in Troy Fautanu in the first round this year and drafted a first round tackle in Broderick Jones last year, you would think that Dan Moore Jr. would be the swing tackle, playing both left tackle, right tackle, on both sides when the Steelers need him. But if he still says he's not comfortable playing on the right side and only the left side, you really can't do him like that. You can't play him as swing tackle because of that reason. He's not comfortable doing it. You could play him out of his comfort zone, but that's when more penalties and stuff happens. So the Steelers so far, like I said, they've been playing Broderick Jones because he told Brian Batko he's been playing right tackle and left tackle so far in OTAs, and just from looking, he's been with the first team. And he said he'll do whatever it takes to play for the Steelers in terms of left tackle, right tackle, whatever they need him to do. He says as long as he's the starter. Obviously, he'll still be the starter based off his production last season, where he was picked and things like that. But it looks like as of right now, if the season started today, obviously it doesn't. We still have preseason, things of that nature. But if it started today, the Steelers would be playing him at right tackle and Dan Moore Jr. at left tackle. It could be the same situation as the Steelers happened last season in terms of benching a core four and then plugging and playing Broderick Jones as a starter. We all thought maybe last season Broderick Jones should have been the starter straight from the beginning of the season, but then the offensive line was playing terribly. Once Broderick Jones was inserted in the lineup, the offensive line started playing way better at run blocking, way better at pass blocking, and then it had us thinking, why wasn't he the starter to begin with, right off the beginning? And that's kind of the same road that we're going down right now. Because Dan Moore Jr. is so experienced at left tackle, he's so experienced, he's been playing for the last 3 seasons, starting every single game basically in his career at the left tackle spots. The Steelers aren't just going to throw Troy Fautanu and give him the starting job right away. And that's kind of disappointing because we know what Dan Moore Jr. could do. Is he going to get any better? No, he's probably going to stay the same, which is an average left tackle. And obviously, Omar Khan, he spoke and said he wants Broderick Jones to be the starting left tackle. He wants him to move back to his natural position. He said before the draft process. And then they went out and drafted a right tackle because of that reason, to move him back to his natural position. So you would think that maybe Troy Fautanu would be given the starting job right away alongside Broderick Jones to move him back to his natural position. But that doesn't look like what the Steelers are doing so far in OTAs, just from looking at the number 1s and number 2s in terms of who's running with what offense. So that's a big mistake in my eyes, because not only do you have Troy Fautanu playing out of position, a first round pick, playing right tackle, you also now would have Broderick Jones once again playing out of position at right tackle again. And then you have Dan Moore Jr., who's a 4th round pick. You didn't have to trade it for him. You didn't have to pick him in the first round. He was a 4th round pick. You still have him at the left tackle spot. And if you don't plan on him being the starter the whole season or into the future, that just doesn't make sense. Because just say down the road, Dan Moore Jr., he gets pulled from the starting lineup. What are you going to do then? Are you going to move Broderick Jones all the way back to left tackle after he just played 1.5 seasons at right tackle? Or would you put Troy Fautanu at left tackle after he's been practicing all OTAs, playing right tackle and trying to learn that position? See how it doesn't really make sense? Because Broderick Jones, he would be playing a long time, getting used to that right tackle spot, just be switched back to the left side. That just doesn't make sense. And Troy Fautanu said he's worked on the right side, and Dan Moore Jr. specifically left side. So if he's not your future offense tackle, obviously he's not, just from what the Steelers have done in the draft, picking 2 guys in the first round back-to-back years at the offense tackle spot. You would think those guys would be the future for the next decade at the tackle spot. So Dan Moore Jr. being the starter at left tackle just isn't a really good case scenario for this team. I'll also get more into it in a different video and talk more about it, but even right now, as the ones, what we've seen in OTA so far at the center position has not been that great either, because Nate Herbig has been running with the ones so far in OTAs, in practice, about the center spot. Even though he's a guard transitioning to center, he's been running with the ones at center. Obviously, it doesn't mean much in OTAs, but that's been what's been happening so far, and not the Zach Frazier guy that the Steelers drafted in the second round. He hasn't been running with ones, he's been running with twos, but I'll get more into that in a different video. So moving back to the tackle position, Troy Fautanu, he spoke on playing right tackle, and he said this: I wouldn't say it's easy, I wouldn't say it's hard, but I would for sure say, you know what, it's different. You know what I mean? But for me, it's just another opportunity for me. It's whatever the position coach wants me to play. I'm going to play it. I'm not going to argue against him. He knows a lot more than I do. If he thinks I can play right, then I can play right. End quote. So that's the right mindset to have. And based off how the Steelers have selected their tackles in the recent draft, from Dan Moore Jr., Broderick Jones, Troy Fautanu, someone's going to have to play out of position. They drafted all those guys, and all those guys coming out of college were left tackles. So someone's going to have to play out of position. And it looks like it's going to have to be Broderick Jones, and it looks like it's going to have to be Troy Fautanu, because Dan Moore Jr. has most experience at left tackle, and apparently he's still not comfortable playing right side. And you wouldn't expect him to either, because he just hasn't played it. So someone's going to have to play out of position, and it looks like it's the rookies that the Steelers drafted in the first round. And also, switching positions right out of college can be tough. Then there's the pressure of being a first-round pick on top of that. So that's what Troy Fautanu has to deal with in terms of that pressure. And it's not easy because he's been doing the left side drop back the whole time, and now it's different because now you're basically using your right arm instead of your left arm, because he's basically using his left foot as a drop back, and now he uses his right foot as drop back. It's basically just switching hands from left to right or right to left in terms of what hand you are. And Broderick Jones explained it the exact same way last season. He said it was very difficult switching from left tackle to right tackle. So someone's gonna have to switch, and Broderick Jones and Troy Fautanu says it's not easy, but they're willing to do it. So those are the people who are given the chance at right tackle first, it looks like, in OTAs right off the rip. Dan Moore Jr. so far has not been practicing right tackle as far as we know, so you would think that he would be the left tackle right out the gates. But this has been the report. The report has been that the Pittsburgh Steelers really like Dan Moore Jr., which doesn't really make sense because they just drafted 2 offensive tackles in the first round. But anyway, this is how it's going, and that's why I'm saying that the Pittsburgh Steelers are making a huge mistake. But obviously, that's my opinion. Hopefully, this doesn't turn out to be another Okorafor situation where he was benched and then the offense line just got way better after it, and we're wondering why he just wasn't benched to begin with, and the first round tackle wasn't the starter to start the season. That's probably wasn't happen again this season, but hopefully they make the right decision before the season actually starts, and come week 1 and not come week 4 or week 7 or week whatever it is. Hopefully make the right decision right off the gate and don't ruin a season of the offense line and running backs because of it. But that's just my opinion. Give me yours down in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments about the situation in terms of Dan Moore Jr. looking like he's going to be the starter at left tackle based off right now, Broderick Jones right tackle, and the Troy Fautanu right tackle as well. And also, do you believe that Dan Moore Jr. should be the starter or shouldn't? And how do you feel about them picking people in first rounds just to move their position, but the 4th round pick gets to stay at his? So let me know your thoughts. But also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. I cover it all, every news, every rumor, every signing, every trade. I cover it, every highlight, reaction video, breakdown. I do it all. So turn on notifications, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.